of the 8 topics, here's the first one, and it's a big one. It's called guilt. And Jordan has been gracious enough to talk to us a little bit, to help us grapple with this thing that we all know about called guilt. Jordan?
Yeah, thanks, Randy.
And would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jordan Bellamy, and I started off as a filmmaker. I've been doing that for the past 5 or 6 years, working freelance, working with a lot of nonprofits overseas, and then started with my business partner a collaborative workspace called Weld, and it's for creatives, so filmmakers, photographers, and just people that want to change the world through creative arts. And it's a place for them to gather together in the same building and be members of this community together and collaborate and grow together and work together. So we're started in Dallas 2 years ago and launched one here in Nashville. So that's how I met some of these guys. So yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, guilt. I grew up in a Christian environment in East Texas, and so I was able to see a pretty heavy church culture. And so the question that I was struggling with growing up and even now is guilt a necessary part of our salvation? I think it's very much a part of that culture. We see guilt, we've kind of paired that with kind of a penitent heart, the idea that I recognize that I don't have it all together, that I've done things that have been wrong, I've wronged people. So I think guilt in a lot of ways can lead towards that reflection and that potential kind of salvific, that moment of salvation where you say, I don't have it all together, I need other people, I need God, I need to be reconciled on some level. But I think the question I have is forgiveness from God, from other people, is that dependent on how guilty we feel about ourselves? And so is there a link there? Does that come from the guilt that we feel? And can we accept forgiveness if we feel too guilty? And I was thinking about this in terms of the prodigal son story. And I think about the older brother in this scene, and we know that he resents that the younger brother comes back and there's this party thrown. But I wonder if he's not so much resenting the fact that the father shows forgiveness, but that the son just freely accepts it. Because I think when we see other people, we want to project that they should feel guilty. They've wronged us, they've wronged somebody. When we see this person is guilty, it's kind of this type of justice, like, well, they deserve to be guilty because they've been wrong. And so you see this kind of father give forgiveness to the son, and the son accepts it, and it feels cheap and it feels flippant. And I don't think the problem is the son takes it upon himself to think like I am entitled towards this other person's guilt, and therefore misses out on what forgiveness is. So we want to project guilt on other people a lot of times, and then obviously we have the guilt that we feel for ourselves. And my main concern, I guess, is that guilt would block us from feeling other people's empathy for us or God's empathy, that we would deny somebody's grace because we are stuck kind of holding on to guilt as a property, as almost like an idol, and thinking that we're entitled to punish ourselves for the way that we feel, as if that would bring us closer to being saved or to fixing things. And so that's my question is does guilt have a place as a part of forgiveness for other people and forgiving ourselves?
Good. And later on in another video segment, I'm going to talk about guilt specifically. And what I've come to understand, just in my questioning this thing, is that there are three kinds of guilt that especially psychologists recognize, and only one is healthy. And that's, that was an amazing thing for me. Most of the guilt I've felt in my life has really been unhealthy and has been detrimental. So does anybody else have anything to say about?
Which kind of guilt was healthy?
Or maybe I shouldn't say healthy. Yeah, healthy.
Conviction.
Because when I wrong someone or I've hurt someone or wounded them, then to be penitent, even if they don't let me be penitent about that, even if I do it symbolically, if that's spiritually or not, to be sorry for hurting someone.
But don't you want to be sorry and then let go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And letting go then
Absolutely.
resolves the guilt. So it's not that you hold on to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, one of the psychologists said that the Catholic religion has sort of a leg up on, or at least that's what he said, because there's a confessional.
Confessional.
And once you confess, you're forgiven, and then you walk out and leave it. And,
Yeah, but see, that's not how a lot of us. I don't know
That's
when to
the
let
theory.
go. I don't know when to let go. You know, as soon as I say I'm sorry, tell somebody, or do I have to wait 20 more minutes or 10 more years before I'm kind of done with it and go on and let it not get in the way anymore? That's kind of my question. Is it what's the signal to say, okay, done with that now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I still understand.
It's not healthy to hold on to it.
I know, but it's really hard to let go of it.
You're getting something out of holding on to it, and you ought to examine what you're getting from it, and why you're holding on to it, and you'll find then that it's not, that there's no reason to hold on to it. It's suppressing some feeling. So figure out what that feeling is, and you'll be able to let go.
And I'm wondering if that is doing anything healthy for the other person. That's again
It
do you
never
owe them
helps.
the guilt?
It
Yeah.
never helps the other person.
Right.
No, you can feel bad, you can feel resentful. Whatever you feel doesn't help or hinder the other person in anything. It's all in your head. So let it go.
I love that. Yes.
I was just going to say, I think part of it too is sometimes when we feel guilty, it's because we're waiting for the person or the thing that wronged us to exonerate us from that guilt. And so we're placing our well-being in somebody else's hand, where if we have done what we need to do, if we've hurt somebody or done something wrong and we have reconciled it in our minds and made peace with it, then we need to walk away from it at that point, I think. And then you can go on. That's easier said than done. If it was, we'd have a lot of healthy people walking around today.
Fewer psychiatrists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like most of the things I've worried about and the things I felt guilty about have hurt me, they haven't helped me. And I like that, let it go. I like that. Great.